Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something, well, a little different. We're setting aside the usual policy papers and historical texts.
We are.
In their place, we have just one document. It's the lyrics to Donny Dooms, that massive hit, Beaches and Cream.
And our mission for you today is not just to enjoy the song. We're taking these lyrics 100% at face value. We're treating them as a serious step-by-step blueprint
A blueprint for what, exactly?
for the ultimate, total, and this is key, permanent tropical escape. Every single line is being treated as a mandatory factual component of this whole new way of life.
So we're building a thesis on perpetual vacation, essentially. And the song sets up the core conflict right away. On one side, you have the pressure of, well, deadlines and what he calls the machine.
The machine. And right away, that's contrasted with the solution, the replacement philosophy. He called it island time.
And this isn't just about slowing down, is it?
Not at all. It's a systematic rejection of an external schedule. The very first move in this blueprint is to just recognize that you need to shift from a life of production to one of perpetual consumption of pleasure.
Okay, so let's get into the specifics, the architectural requirements. Section 1 lays out the core components of this new life. And the central idea is so simple, but it's profound. He just says, beaches and cream, that's my daily routine.
The daily routine. And to get that routine started, the blueprint demands a very specific geographic location. Verse 1 is clear. You have to go south where the sun always beams.
That's not a metaphor.
No, it's a non-negotiable requirement. It immediately rules out most of the planet. We're talking strictly about the tropics, maybe the subtropics, places with minimal seasons to guarantee that constant warmth.
So right off the bat, this escape is only for people who can get to and stay in a very specific climate zone. But okay, let's say you get there. What about the setup? The packing list is surprisingly short.
It's minimalist, which is the point, right? To reduce complexity. The entire list is just flip-flops and a cooler of dreams.
Okay, the flip-flops I get. But that cooler. We have to talk about the cooler. If this is a permanent lifestyle, it can't just be for, sandwiches and drinks.
Exactly. I mean, what are the dreams in the cooler? Is it a container for memories of the life you left behind? Or, and I think this is it the financial mechanism that sustains this whole thing?
So the cooler of dreams is really just a metaphor for a passive income stream.
It has to be. Long-term savings, investments, something. That cooler is the engine of the entire escape, allowing you to have this routine without having to work for it. The dream has to be self-sustaining.
That makes so much sense. And once you arrive with your financially sound cooler, the environment has to immediately tell you you made the right call.
Yes, and the first interaction is specified. The bartender is smiling, pouring rum with a gleam. The rum is sort of the welcome drink, the ritual.
And the smile is the validation.
The smile is the confirmation. It's the local community saying, yes, your choice to reject the machine. We approve. We welcome it.
So this whole infrastructure, the right latitude, the minimalist gear, the welcoming bar, it all leads to this immediate payoff. The line is, life tastes sweeter with beaches and cream. Your whole perception of existence is recalibrated around flavor.
It is. It's a pretty bold claim that success is now measured by, palatability. But what really gets me is the word routine.
Right.
Even this perfect escape, this paradise, has to be a routine. It's not spontaneous. It's scheduled, reliable sweetness every single day.
Which sets us up perfectly for section 2. The sensory details. What makes this specific beach so special? Verse 2 gets into the sound, the social life.
The key sound, the auditory element, has to be the steel drums playing my favorite refrain.
Not just any song, your favorite refrain.
It's personalized. It's not just background noise. It's a specific soundtrack designed to, override the mental chatter left over from the machine. It's repetitive. It's comforting. It reinforces the new reality.
And that sound is the trigger for the next critical action. Dancing with strangers, forgetting my name. Now we have to unpack that. If this is a permanent life blueprint, is forgetting your name just a temporary thing for the party, or is it a permanent command?
I think it has to be permanent. This is where the manual gets really, really demanding. You're being asked to shed your entire history.
Your family, your job title?
Everything. Everything associated with that old, structured world has to go. Forgetting your name is the ultimate reset button. It lets you exist purely in the moment, defined only by your presence on that sand. If you remember your name, the machine can still find you.
But doesn't that make the whole thing incredibly fragile? I mean,
Right.
if you're totally anonymous, how do you deal with the real world? Bank accounts, healthcare, you know, life. It seems like the blueprint demands that you detach from the state, which is often what the machine is.
That's the hidden cost, isn't it? That's the trade-off you make for the sensory benefits. And those benefits are described in such detail.
They really are.
It's not just have a drink, it's the texture. Salt on my margarita, coconut sheen. The blueprint requires this like high definition sensory input.
Yeah.
The grit of the salt, the gloss of the coconut.
It's a life lived entirely on the surface, through the senses. Even nature gets in on it. The tide rolls in like a sweet sugar stream.
Yeah, the world itself is being redefined as a dessert. The environment is just one big, edible, sweet topping that confirms you're living in a world of indulgence.
And the only correct response to all this is to want more. I'll take another scoop of beaches and cream. The hunger for this routine is supposed to be endless. You have to keep consuming it to keep it real.
The perfection of the moment is fleeting. You need constant renewal.
Which brings us to section 3, the actual philosophy. This is where we move beyond the physical place and into the mental state required. And the chorus is the core command. Forget the deadlines, forget the machine.
The machine here is, I think, the engine of modern anxiety. It runs on schedules, productivity, making money off of your time. So when he says forget the machine, it's not just a physical retreat, it's a cognitive one. You have to actively purge the need to be efficient.
And the bridge gives us the alternative, the definition of island time. Structure is replaced by sensation. The new mindset is no worries, no hurry, just the ocean breeze.
Let's focus on that no hurry part. It implies a kind of radical patience.
Mhm.
Our normal lives train us to always be thinking about the next thing, what's next on the to-do list. Island time forces you to be absolutely present. If you're hurrying, you're not tasting the salt on the margarita. The goal becomes just maximizing the enjoyment of right now.
And what I find fascinating is that this commitment, this anti-structure, it leaves physical marks. You actually acquire sunburned shoulders and sandy knees.
Yes. They're like certificates of completion, badges of honor. They prove you've submitted to the environment schedule, the sun's schedule, the tide's schedule, not the office schedule. The sandy knees mean you've been grounded, literally, in this new world.
But if the goal is freedom, does getting sunburned shoulders and constantly having to remember to forget the deadlines, doesn't that just replace one set of rules with another?
I think it does.
You trade the tyranny of the clock for the tyranny of the sun. The blueprint creates its own set of mandatory daily rituals.
Absolutely. The escape requires this new active commitment. You haven't found total freedom. You've just swapped the structure of a cubicle for the structure of constant mandatory indulgence. And that brings us to the core metaphor of the whole thing. Section 4, the dessert.
Right. The blueprint defines paradise entirely through taste. The bridge just lays it out there. If paradise is a flavor, you know what I mean.
It's arguing that paradise isn't some complex spiritual state or a political utopia. It's just a simple, consumable flavor. And the entire point of escaping the machine is to achieve this very specific, very sweet taste.
And he takes it to the absolute max with the final comparison. It's a double dip sundae of beaches and cream.
The double dip?
Why a double dip? It's not just enough. It's excessive. It's the biggest serving you can get, combining the place, the beaches with the indulgence, the cream.
I think the double dip sundae really highlights the problem with perpetual pleasure. A sundae is, by definition, a treat, a special occasion.
Right, you don't have one every day.
But this blueprint says you must. It's your daily routine. That means you have to somehow overcome the basic human tendency to get used to things. You have to make sure the sweetness never, ever becomes boring.
That's the real challenge, isn't it? How to maintain that level of desire where you always want another scoop. But by the outro, this idea has gone from just a desire to like a full-blown conviction.
It becomes a religion. He calls the lifestyle a tropical recipe, I truly believe. The word recipe again implies rules, steps you have to follow.
And belief implies faith. You have to have faith in the recipe for it to work.
And the commitment has to be absolute. The pledge is beaches and cream, yeah, I'll never leave. This is a one-way ticket. There's no going back.
The escape becomes the permanent reality.
And the final line, the emotional peak, describes this complete surrender. Your heart is forever melting in beaches and cream. If the old life in the machine was rigid, hard, structured.
This new life is soft, warm, liquid.
Exactly. The heart itself, your emotional core, has liquefied. It's melted into the sweet routine. The rigidity is gone. forever.
So when you analyze Beaches and Cream as an actual manual, you get this incredibly clear blueprint. It requires a specific place, a certain amount of capital in that cooler, and a total erasure of your old self.
All of it's sustained by this constant high-def sensory input of rum, steel drums, salt, and sun. It's life dedicated to chasing and renewing a specific flavor.
It's quite a plan.
It is. But what's so fascinating to me is the level of commitment it demands. So if this blueprint for the perfect escape requires you to never leave, if it demands total belief in a tropical recipe and daily adherence to its rituals, we have to ask you this. Does escaping the oppressive demands of the machine actually lead to freedom? Or does it just replace the industrial machine with a new, equally mandatory, and maybe even more demanding, tropical machine of relentless structured pleasure? That's the paradox of a permanent paradise we'll leave you to think about.